Hi, I'm Doug, and this is my church. My church. Sandy and I have been downtown a lot, and a member of this church for almost 15 years. It's a really important part of our life and part of our values. I suspect because you're watching this video that this church is part of your life too, and is your church. I think we all take a certain pride in our church, its beauty, its history, its missions. And with that pride comes a sense of ownership and responsibility. The church is sometimes a difficult operation to run. It requires a lot of input. It requires a lot of money. The way the church spends its money is not really a mystery. Just like if you in your home, your business is for insurance, for power and for water, and for the church food, for salaries, but very expensive. Kat has asked several of us to take a leadership in the First Presbyterian Church Pledge Season 2019. Amy, Jimmy, Bob, and myself are delighted to do that. I think you should have already gotten a letter from me basically going into more detail about this 2019 pledge effort. We will have at most every worship session one of us making a small presentation. We'll be calling people individually. We will hopefully try some new things like using this video for direct video messaging for people who are unable to get to church. The bottom line is that what we want to do is accomplish 100% participation by all our members this year. Whether that's a little bit or a lot is not critical to me. What's critical is that 100% participation is what we achieve. It's really easy. The way you do that is fill out your card and mail it in. You can sit down at your computer and just type an email, it does not have to be formal, or drop your pledge form in the collection bin on Sunday. But we need you all to help shoulder this responsibility. Please do it now. I'll see you in church.
Hey, I'm Emily, and this is my church. It became my church when I was 15 years old, so about 10 years ago, and I was able to grow up in this youth group and experience hospitality from the church from afar when I went to college, and have been welcomed back with open arms. For me, it is important to take care of this gift that we've been given from the people who came before us. And I do that by giving money, even though my money doesn't seem like a lot when you look at the big budget. It probably pays for the donuts for the youth group, right? But it's important. And I also give time and energy so that this place can still be a home for youth like it was for me.
I'm Bob. Some years ago, I made a deal with with Shannon, to take some time off from the worship team. I told him I would do anything he wanted me to do, and the following year he put me on the stewardship team. Working with the stewardship team has been great. One of the things I've become painfully aware of, though, is how important it is for each of us to go through the pledge process. The pledge process is where we intentionally decide on how much of our money we're going to give to our church. Each one of us needs to make that decision intentionally and follow through with it by communicating with the church how much money that's going to be. We'll total all that up at the end of the stewardship, at the end of the pledge drive, and that will be the operating budget for the church for the coming year. It's how we fund the programs and the facility. It's how we fund our programs and our facility, our church, my church. My family's been coming to this church for 4 generations, and I'd like to see the church be here for another 4 generations. And that only happens by year after year, the members completing the pledge process and following through faithfully on giving.
I'm Amy, and this is my church. Why do I give to First Presbyterian Church? Why is First Presbyterian Church mine? Well, I'm a relational person. I like to know your story. I like to have connections with you. And I get that here. In fact, on my way down to videotape, I was feeling very uncomfortable and not knowing what I was going to say to you. And all I could think about were the people of the church. You guys make this my church. The relationships that I have built, the 15 years that I have been a member here, are some of the most important of my life. And when I think of those big flashbulb moments in my life, they have First Presbyterian members in them. And that's what makes this church my church. And that is why I give. And it is so important. Thank you. Okay.